Hey!
My old man?
The game is really surreal at the start. What we're seeing right now in this very instance, us swimming in the air, is a reference to like right at the end of the game. Which is why I say you gotta give it some time to roll into it. I can imagine so many people would just like put the game down and be like, I don't understand what's going on. Don't worry about it. In fact, I'll give you guys a wager, alright? Give it till something called Operation Mi'ihen. I won't explain what that is, but there's something called Operation Mi'ihen. And when I replayed the game very recently, that was when I felt like, you know, it had really hit its stride. Anyway, so we swim down by pressing circle.
I thought about a lot of things. Like,
and we see this.
Where I was, what I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded, and then sleepy. I think I had a dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone, beside me, so I didn't have to feel alone anymore. Anybody there? Aaron! Hey!
Well, I guess you don't have to dream about being alone, dude. You're pretty damn alone. Where the hell are we now? So this place, if we press triangle now, we can actually finally get into the game menus. Currently there's very little we can do here. We can see items in our inventory. As you can see, it's a huge inventory. There's loads of screens. We only have 2 items though. There are potions, which I talked about before. There's these things here called Phoenix Downs as well. If you lose all your health, if you die, you can use one of these items to resurrect people, and there's lots of different methods of that. We can sort our items. Then we got some equipment as well. So currently we have a longsword equipped and a buckler. Sword and a shield, that's it. You know, there's nothing else going on with there. We got different abilities too, but our character at the moment, Titus, has no abilities, so that's useless. Overdrives, we can actually use this menu to see what our overdrives are that we've got unlocked currently. It's only one, spiral cut. Status, we don't have to worry about that just yet. It only shows us stuff like strength and defense and things, which I'll explain later. There is a config menu. I would recommend people check this out. Vibration is off by default. Turn that bad boy on. You've got to have some vibration on there. And Aeons, I would say set to short. You're not going to know what the hell that means for a while, but I would just do it. And cursor set to memory. What that means is, let's say I play Titus and I go through all these menus to make him do something really cool. And then he plays out his turn. When I get his turn again later in battle, the game will remember what the last thing it was that I chose for him, and it will just default to that every time, right? So memory is quite nice. Now here, we've got the map in the top left, which is telling us, oh hey, you want to go in the general direction of where that red triangle is. There are a couple of extra things you can miss here though. We can swim a little bit down in the shallow waters here, but there's very little point to it. However, over here on the left, if I can remember the way up correctly, there is in fact, maybe it's a little, yeah, it's a bit further forward, there are 2 hidden treasure chests in this area. So you can find items hidden around the world. If you don't get them the first time, you may never be able to get them back. That's why one of the things I really enjoy about this game, frankly. And lots of other small things. I know where every treasure is in the game, so we don't have to worry about them. This is just number 1. By opening this chest, we get another 2 potions. Yay, so we're already 4 potions up from some noob. There's a sphere here on the ground. And it says to us, Introduction to Albed. Find Albed primers to help you decipher the strange Albed language. And then it says something in a weird language to us. Now, what you can do with this game is you can learn another language entirely, right? So there's all these characters in the game that will be talking another language and you don't understand it. But as you play through the game, if you find all of these items, you can slowly teach your character to understand the language. And what they let you do with that sphere there is when you make a new game, you can import data from another save file so that you automatically know the language. If you've done it before, if this is your second playthrough, you can go to that sphere, and what that means is all the early game NPCs that speak this weird language, you can now understand. It's actually really cool. It doesn't make that much sense, I guess, that you'd find that sphere, but, you know. So we get 200 gil in that chest. That's the currency in this game. You can see at the bottom of my menu here, we've been playing for 38 minutes, and we have 500 gil. 500 gold, I guess, for anything else. Over here, there's a weird icon thing on this pillar. It says something is written here. And again, we get this weird language, okay? This language is called Albed. We don't know what the hell any of this means, but there is a keyword here called Macalania, which apparently we do recognize. Macalania. Now it'll become evident what that is in a long time. This is actually some end game stuff we're looking at here.
What do we have here? Nope, can't read it.
So yeah, Titus doesn't have a clue, and that's fine, we don't have to worry. What this does tell us though is there are some people who speak this language called Albed around. Immediately that's a hint to stuff that might happen in the future of the plot. By the way, I will not be spoiling anything, okay? I might mention stuff will happen in the future, but I'm going to be crazy cryptic about it. So don't worry, I know in previous of my LPs, people have been like, oh, you shouldn't say what's coming up too early. I will be holding it off, don't worry, you're not going to get spoiled for anything. I'm going to treat this as if this is the first time we've ever seen the game. And hopefully you get to have the same experience as I did. So we get another save sphere here. I'm just going to quickly save. Not new save data. On my test file, before I started recording this for you guys, I completed the entire game, did all the grind, everything. Like, I've got everything set up. And I ended up having like 1 million save files just because I accidentally saved to a new one instead of overwriting my old. Now, here we get a split. Do we want to go left or forward? By looking at the map, you can see it's a dead end on the left. If you go forward, you're never going to be able to come back. So let's just quickly go left and see what's on this dead end. Turns out we are rewarded for this astute observation with a cheeky little chest that gives us a high potion. So Titus has got 520 health right now. Potion restores 200 health, and a high potion restores 1,000. So if we drink that high potion, it will put us from, you know, 1 health way up to max, and then even more. So that's actually a really powerful item to have got so early. Wherever we are certainly seems very creepy.
Ah!
You know, I always thought that rock falling into the pool there looks remarkably jagged and scary. So there we can see the save sphere, and the game is tempting you to try and swim towards it. However, you may be prone to some danger. So we're going to swim down. It doesn't really matter what you do there. Let's just try and get to the save sphere, I suppose, is what the cutscene wants you to do. Oh dear, fishies. These enemies are actually called Sahagins. Again, they are a reference to something that's appeared in a lot of Final Fantasy games before. Sahagins are common enemies you would find in pools and water throughout all the different Final Fantasy games. It's no different here, so you've got Sahagins. They're actually kind of rare enemies in this game, you don't see many. We'll kill this one here, not a problem. Oh, and we actually got pretty lucky with some dodges there. So, that stat screen I showed you guys earlier, one of the stats in this game is evasion, okay? And if you've got really high evasion, it means that enemies will miss their attacks on you. Only one left, it looks like we'll be okay. Yeah, that's not good. And the Sahagin leaves. Oh no, it gets hit. So there's actually a bit of blood there. Funnily enough, I don't think there's any other blood in this game. I really don't think there is. There's some brutal stuff that happens, but they never really animate it with blood, as far as I can remember. Maybe there's something small. Wow, so another boss fight straight away. And we were ambushed. Now, being ambushed by an enemy means it gets to attack you first, rather than you getting to attack it. Now, there is no, like, active time here, right? So, if I just sat here like this, I went AFK, I went go get a pizza, it doesn't matter, right? The game will never progress. That's one core difference between this battle system and other Final Fantasy games. And it makes it feel much more like a kind of a strategy puzzle game rather than like an active battle thing. In the top right, you can see there's a bunch of icons. One is my face and the other is boss. And that's telling you whose turn it will be. So, I have a turn, then the boss has a turn. Then I have a turn, then the boss has a turn. And we can scroll down and it goes on like that. Now, the faster your character is, it means you can get more turns than an enemy. So here you see at the bottom, if this fight goes on long enough, I actually get 2 turns in a row because the boss is a little bit slower than I am. And that could be to our advantage. So we'll try and attack him. We only do 29 damage. That's really not very good. His attack here will always, just like, it's not actually a gravity attack, but just like Demi earlier, his attack will only ever do half of our health, ever. And so we never have to worry about him actually managing to kill us. But that doesn't seem to matter because a cutscene triggers very quickly into the boss fight. And it turns out we don't get to kill him. This guy is actually one of the end game bosses you can return to later as an optional thing and maybe try and get revenge on him. But for now, we're too weak to be able to deal with the threat. And we just need to get away. It's funny, actually, you can hack the game. Obviously, game codes and stuff you could use on PS2 pretty easily. And if you hacked the game to kill him in that little encounter, you could get really cool loot. It'd be really weird because he wouldn't drop anything right away. But after all this happens, it would just trigger the cutscene if you killed him by hacking the game. And then later, when you opened up a chest in the next area, it would randomly give you the item of that chest plus an extra 1,000 gil. So remember, we've only got 500 gil to our name. It would just give you an extra 1,000 for no reason. And then towards the end of the game, it would bug stuff out as well. But it was kind of weird that you could, hack the game and maybe be able to kill him early. So yeah.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the freezer. I thought I was gonna die in this place.
Alright, okay, so we are now out of the water, as Titus says, into the freezer, which is fine. I actually really like the bits where we get to see inside his own head. He's got kind of like an annoying-ish voice that grates on people. A lot of people don't like him that much as a main character. It's funny, he's a blonde, obviously. Before the game came out, though, in betas, he had black hair. And the reason they changed it was because they felt in the Final Fantasy series they'd had too many, like, brooding, kind of emo main characters for too long. So they tried to make this guy a bit more cheery. And he certainly is more cheery. Not right now. I mean, he's in a pretty dire situation here. I mean, he doesn't even know where the hell he is.
Cold. Need fire.
Alright, and where the hell he is, you guys might be thinking, oh, he's just in the ruins of the city he was at earlier. He's actually not. He's somewhere very far away from Zanarkand, where he was earlier. So it currently says to us, location is Ruins Hall in the bottom on our menu here. Way later we'll learn that we're actually at a place called Baaj. Here on our map we have a new icon, okay, this red flashing cross. You actually don't see that pretty much anywhere else in the game. It's really weird. This section of the game is kind of odd. The gameplay is a bit different. We're going to have to scavenge for stuff to light this fire. So we press X, and apparently these are the remains of a campfire. With flint and tinder, you could start another fire here. So that's the goal, but if you're a bit more astute, you might realize, wait, why is there the remains of a fire here? Has someone been here before us? So there's a big doorway here, which we actually can't get into. There is also this plant here, which we can interact with. Maybe we can use this as tinder. Some withered flowers have been left here, but they have soaked up too much rainwater to serve as tinder. So really, we are on a bit of a scavenger hunt right now, trying to figure out exactly what we're doing. Anyway, so there you go. There was the chest, and this is an X potion. So we've now got a potion, a high potion, and this really well-hidden chest, which gives us an X potion, fully restores HP of one character. X potions, no matter how powerful we ever get, will always be relevant and useful to us throughout the game. So we've currently got a save sphere down here. And again, I believe there's another chest in this room, but we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to interact with the save sphere either. But two doorways coming out of this main hall. This is the first of them. And here we can examine this table that seems to have been turned over. And in the table we find some flint. So yay, there is flint. Fantastic. I don't believe there's a chest in here actually. What you'll find interesting is on that tattered cape in the background there's this weird marking, alright? That mark is the symbol of Yevon, alright? I will talk about the symbol of Yevon much more later, but it is all over this world and this game, and for very good reason. There's also a lot of random text along the walls here that do say real things that can, again, as I've explained before, be translated. But we're not going to know what any of them are referring to right now anyway if I were to translate it, so I'm not going to bother. Alright, we will go through the other door to the north now and see what else we can find. I'm sure there's a second chest in that room. Hey, whatever. And this will take us out into a sort of a slidey little corridor here. And there's a chest right at the bottom here, so do you remember that one? This is an ether. Now, ethers don't restore HP, ethers restore MP. MP is what you use to cast abilities, just like magic or mana or anything that's called MP in this game, and ethers restore it. And here, against this wall, we find another plant, dead plant. But hey, what do you know? It's actually it's dry enough for us to collect it. So we've obtained a withered bouquet. Now we have the 2 items we need. We could go back to the fire and actually start it. But if you progress along through the corridor, again, there's some more hidden stuff you'll be able to find. And that is in the way of another chest. I actually can't remember what's in it. It would go to think maybe it's some kind of ether here. Oh no, so there you go. That's another high potion up on this balcony. So let's head back down to the fireplace and actually light this sucker up. The funny thing is about where we are, yes, it's a huge wreck, but it hasn't been in ruin for that long. It was destroyed just like we saw Zanakin's, it looked like, was destroyed by sin. Many places seem to have been destroyed wherever that thing goes. One last thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is in terms of items, is we've got regular items, but now we've also got key items have appeared. Withered Bouquet and Flint are such key items. And it's funny, we only need them for lighting this fire right at the start of the game, and after that we will never need them again, but they stay in our inventory forevermore. So Withered Bouquet, someone put their heart and soul into making this, and the Flint used to start fires. So let's start the fire up and get out of this place. I believe one chest is missing right now. I've missed one. But I don't really care that much. It's not going to have anything amazing in it. Oh, actually, I'm looking at my guide right now, and apparently I have not missed a chest. So yay, we're 100%. Get some well-earned rest, Titus. You know how I told you guys he has black hair, or he originally was going to have black hair? In the initial plot of this game as well, he wasn't going to be like a star blitzball player. He was actually going to be a plumber.
I need food.
Sure, you need food, no worries. Yeah, but he was going to be a plumber that defended Zanakin from fiends like those Sahagins we saw.
What do you want?
It was a bad call. Your team lost because of you.
You came to say that?
It's been 10 years. I thought you'd be crying.
Who, me?
You cried.
Huh? 10 years since what? I don't understand. But apparently we had a conversation with Oren sometime a while ago. Much of the early parts of this story are about us sort of coming to grips with the fact we're not at home.
Hey, wait! Don't go out on me! Just hold on. I'll get more wood.
Another fight. It's like they chain together like semi-boss fights.
Give me a break!
Yeah, don't worry, Titus. We'll deal with him. We are, however, still low, and that's pretty bad. Again, this is a fight we can actually lose now, so we got to start being careful. Apparently, I should have at least touched the save sphere, even if I didn't want to save. But we'll see what we can do. I guess I'm going to have to drop a high potion on this, just because I want to get my health high enough so that I can actually do things. Now, earlier I talked to you guys about skipping turns. You can do that by pressing triangle, and when you skip a turn in such a way, your characters actually defend themselves. This means that next time they get attacked, they actually take significantly reduced damage, and you can tactically use that later on in the game when you know, say, a massive attack is coming. It means you don't put out so much offense, but yeah. There as well, when I attacked him, my screen flashed white. That was a critical hit, and I did more damage. Crits, again, they're sort of a staple of this series. And they will do double damage, I believe is what they do. It's either double damage or 1.5 times damage. And you're very unlikely to score any crits, really, in this game until right at the end, where you can start building up your luck stat, because that's the only real thing that influences it. Aside from some other small stuff, but hey, I'm jumping the gun. Oh god, what now? Ah, people! Not friendly looking people and people with guns, but people. Yes. And gas masks on. These, my friends, would be the Al beds that the game has been pretty heavily hinting at the existence of. The campfire, the fact that there's Al bed stuff around.
You on my side? Cool.
Nice. So they're not going to try and kill us for once. Using grenades. Certain items, like grenades, have special effects when used. These items can only be used during battle by selecting the special ability used. So there's a weird distinction here. There are items you can throw in battle, like potions and ethers. And there are also special damaging items that you can use with certain characters and certain abilities, the use abilities. So use special items, you'll see that this person that's just come in our party, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark as they read, has grenades in her pocket. So we'll throw them over there. See how much damage they do. A significant amount, it would seem. So, and now that we've got 2 people as well, we get extra turns and we can actually unleash some havoc. She's also got another ability called Steal. So if we try and steal from this enemy, you'll see that you can steal grenades back. It's weird. Like, why would you be able to steal grenades from it? But whatever, you know, you just roll with it. We can also attack with her. This thing's called a click. It's a certain type of fiend, just as Sahagin, the type of fiends, will find stronger ones, well, not weaker ones. This is a pretty damn weak fiend, to be honest. But, you know, we'll find various types of them later on. Whenever you steal from an enemy as well, by the way, there's like a rare chance you'll steal extra stuff or a totally different item. So you could, if you wanted, just keep spamming steal on this thing over and over and over again. Every time you successfully steal, your rates of stealing something else go down by like half. So if we keep doing it with her, eventually it's going to say couldn't steal anything, or finally there was nothing left to steal. And it may not be worthwhile stocking up your grenades at the moment anyway, considering there's so much other stuff that's going to be going on soon enough. So we'll just keep throwing them. And there you go, it's dead. Ah, so that tune is the victory tune. It's taken us this long in the game to actually get to, yay, you won a battle screen. So we actually got experience for the first time. This is the experience screen, okay? When it first rolls on, it will say, oh, hey, 200 AP, and it will tick down. And eventually it will level you up. So you can see it says S level, and then it's got a 1 next to it, and then it says 10 AP for your next level. It might seem a bit confusing, but basically we sort of leveled up and the person who's with us didn't. We can press X and then it will tell us how much gil we've got. So we got 50 gil from that fight, so we're now up to 550. And we also got 2 spheres, ability spheres, items. Those are, I'll explain how they work soon enough. And no, that's not her ass. She is actually wearing clothes there.
Phew. That was close. Hey, let me go!
Redek Drak!
Fin, Irisa, Tekjaka!
Wag Edeku! Fargemed?
Fed! Trivedek Risa!
Draunia, Drakisha Tain.
Ik van Petit, van Poneket Verdrik. Kuno.
I don't, the thing is, he clutches his stomach, but I can't help but feel like she's kicked him in the balls there. And as I say, you know, if this was your second playthrough, you could actually listen to that, everything they said there in their own language. I could, in theory, have done that for you guys, but I wanted to sort of give an authentic experience. A lot of the dialogue you read early on can spoil stuff for the future, or at least, I think, shed a bit too much light. I think it sort of ruins it in a small way. Anyway, so we've been taken captive. Frankly, I'd rather be on this ship than in that random, remote, fiend-infested temple to die, right? And it's funny, it might seem really random why we were there, but very late in this LP, I'll talk to you guys about some weird, not really fan theories, but ideas about why we ended up where we were.
Kid, did Daija!
Hey, that hurts!
Osujek, Rain?
Whoa. Okay.
Canis!
Right, whatever.
Tui Hood Kabeg?
I said I don't understand.
Akonala!
Fed! He said you can stay if you make yourself useful.
You understand me? All right, I'll work.
Great, being put to work. This guy here, okay,
Sujait! Kadufun
is actually a bit of a comic relief character. I love him. He's called Brother, alright? We will get to know him, I promise you. Not necessarily so much in this game, but the sequel to this game, Final Fantasy X-2, which is a ways away, we will get to know him rather well. So anyway, these are the Al Bhed. Let's actually save this time. And I have something cool to show you guys. That would be the first Al Bhed Primer over here. So that was a book on the floor. I pressed X on it. It says, obtained Al Bhed Primer Volume 1. The secrets of the Al Bhed language are revealed. Y means A. So basically, the way that the Al Bhed language works, and it's given us a rank of Al Bhed Hulia, which we really don't understand right now. The way their language works is literally just a cipher on the English alphabet. So we're going to find 26 of these books, right? Each time we do, it will translate another letter, and eventually we'll be able to read and understand everything they're all saying, which is pretty cool. So anyway, that's the first one. Easily missed. If you do miss it at this point in the game, it will appear somewhere elsewhere. But we don't have to worry about that for now. What do these other guys have to say? Just nonsense, right? So even though we know one letter, we can't understand it. But for some reason, this guy gave us 3 potions. That's cool. There's a funny trick you can do where you can get infinite potions from this guy, which I'll talk about in a second. This guy doesn't seem to say anything. Neither does this guy. So let's speak to this girl. At least she understands us.
Oh, almost forgot.
Alright, and now we get a tutorial called Using the Sphere Grid. This is long, and it's boring, and it's lame, and I can explain it a million times better than the game ever can. So I'm just going to skip this. I'll see you guys in a second. We'll talk about it later. But if you remember, the very first thing we did when we started playing the game was choose what grid we wanted. That's related to all of this. This is how leveling up works in Final Fantasy X. And don't worry, all will become clear. I'm actually going to delay using it for a fair amount of time. Alright, there we go. The tutorial is over. It takes a while. So we can speak to her again.
We found some ancient ruins right beneath us. It's not active now, but there should still be some power left. We're gonna go down there and activate it. And then we should be able to salvage the big prize. Okay, let's get to work.
Roger.
So as a Blitzball player, we're a very strong swimmer. One sort of fact about this universe is that people can train themselves, humans in this world can train themselves to hold their breath for a remarkably long period of time. And that explains much of what we do in the game. So now that we've jumped in the water, we have the option to dive very deep down. You see this girl is actually following us around now. We can dive very deep down, or we can press square to return to the ship. Doing this...
We'll go as soon as you're ready.
Allows you to speak to these characters again. If we come back over to this guy... I believe maybe we have to swim down a bit more. But when you come back to this guy after you've swam down in the water, he'll give you another 3 potions. The idea here is if you get stuck, it was right at the beginning of the game, you can in theory just get as many as you need to be able to power through it. But you can also use this as a very early opportunity to push yourself to 99 potions straight away. Is that useful? Yeah, sort of. Is it necessary? Not at all. In many ways, Final Fantasy X is a game where if you know what's going on, it's incredibly easy. My test file, I was very disappointed by how easy the game is, so I'll be doing stuff on this LP to make it a bit more challenging, sort of. Anyway, so we can speak to her again, and that will just put us in the water again, but a really cruel thing they do here is if you speak to this guy, he asks you some question in Al Bhed, right? You don't know what that question is, and it says yeah or what, right? If you say yeah, which, that seems sort of obvious to be able to do, it will throw you back into the tutorial for the Sphere Grid. And the Sphere Grid tutorial is long, cumbersome, and annoying. So it throws this horrible thing at you where only players who have already played the game and understand the Sphere Grid and the Al Bhed language know what to select. Everyone else is going to hit yeah because they think they might get an item or something, and instead have to watch the same tutorial twice. Kind of stupid. Instead, we're just going to say what, and he's going to look ahead. So that's it pretty much. There's nothing else we can do on the salvage ship right now. Let's speak to this girl here. Jump in the water and start swimming down. Now, maybe I mentioned this already, or maybe I didn't. When this game first came out, well, we already got an encounter. How amazing is that? So now we're going to start getting battles with random fish that are in there. These are piranhas, right? Again, we can use her to steal from them and see what we get. Early on in the game, you're just going to get a bunch of grenades. There's really not that much interesting. These things die in one hit. We actually crit them as well, and when we killed them, we got something called an overkill. If you overkill something, it doubles the items it gives you and doubles the AP, the ability points it gives you. So it's really, really nice. If you can start overkilling things, this is a reason why the game can be kind of easy. Because if you train yourself to the point where you're overkilling everything, it's giving you more experience and more stuff anyway. So it's easy to stay sort of ahead of the curve. But yeah. Anyway, so maybe I mentioned this, maybe I didn't. When this game originally came out, I was a very young teenager, and I used to play. I used to go to my friend's house, and we'd play this all the time. I remember having a sleepover with some friends, and we decided in the middle of the night, like at 3 a.m. This is after waking up at 8 a.m. that morning when we were deliriously tired, that we'd play Final Fantasy X. And I have this really strong memory of going through the game, and there's been a fair amount of preamble up to this point. You'll notice that girl doesn't really seem to do very much damage, but that's fine. We have a sword, she doesn't. I remember playing through this game and getting to this specific point, this section, and the ambience in the background was so enticing to fall asleep to. I was playing this with literally half of one eye open, and could barely handle it. I remember there's one song that comes on later, and now whenever I hear it, I get sort of sleepy, well into adulthood just because of that. Also, this is the earliest point in the entire game where we get random encounters. Random encounters are a staple of Final Fantasy X. What I mean by that is we're swimming around, and then randomly just a battle pops up. There's no enemy on the screen, they just appear, right? Random encounters, that's going to be a big thing. Now, because of this fact, again, one thing I did when I was very young, this was the earliest point where you could grind to learn more overdrives. So overdrives were those special abilities Auron taught us about earlier. And for Tidus, everyone has different overdrives, and they learn new overdrives in completely different ways. Tidus learns more overdrives by doing one simple thing, by using it a lot. So if we use spiral cuts like 5 times, I think it's maybe 10 times, he'll actually learn a new overdrive. And then if we use the new overdrive a bunch of times as well, he'll learn another, and then another. So what I did as one of my weird experiments with grind in this game, I've talked a fair amount on my channel about how I enjoy grind. This is one of the grindiest things I've ever voluntarily done for no reason. I got to this point in the game, the earliest point with random encounters, and I swam around like this all day for hours and hours and hours. And what was the point in it? Just so that I could kill piranhas to slowly build up my overdrive meter, and then use my overdrive a bazillion times to unlock the final overdrive at the very beginning of the game. And it's possible. And funny enough, there are actually encounters and things early on in the game where, because the devs never expected you to have the final overdrive, when you do it, the animation bugs out and all this weird stuff happens. I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about later, but we're not going to do that for the LP, thank God. We're just going to go ahead, we're going to swim into this weird ruin down here, because we're being forced to work. When I'm sure Tidus would want nothing more than just to lay back and be lazy. So there we go. It looks like it's already got some power. There's some stuff flying by on these monitors here. I did say a lot of the stuff in this game can be translated. What is on those boards does look like the language that can be translated, but it's still too low res, even the HD remake, to be legible. Which kind of sucks, but hey. There's even writing on this panel underneath the monitor here, but it's just too small. I like how she was giving us a thumbs up back there. And this is how we work on things. We just sort of hammer the monitor. It's totally fine. That makes sense, right? So now that we're actually inside, funnily enough, I don't believe... Maybe the random encounters do happen still? I don't remember ever getting a random encounter inside. So it really is such a small window of opportunity, right, with those random encounters. Very, very small window of opportunity. If you go too far forward, you miss out on your ability to get the final overdrive of the game. Alright, so here we go. Some swam behind us. Not a random encounter, really. I mean, this was a part of a cutscene. This is a story battle. And they ambushed us. They hit us in the back. In previous Final Fantasy, stuff like that is called back attacks. But here it's ambush. So we're just going to attack them. Funny thing about grenades are their AoE, right? So do you remember Auron's big overdrive attack? It attacked everyone at once. Well, with grenades, you can attack everyone at once without actually having to use an overdrive. She's got an overdrive too, for what it's worth. I don't know whether we can charge it this early in the game. I guess we can. But that's with those dealt with. And once again, we get this little red X here. Again, early in the game, it starts showing you these sort of weird things that they don't really go back to or use that much later on. But we can examine this, whatever it is. I like how we're somewhat of a technical genius. I also like the thought that because early concepts of this game, he was meant to be a plumber, maybe they're sort of reusing old assets and stuff that they had ideas. I mean, it looks a bit like a sewage system we're in, you know, these circular pipes and things. Maybe they just developed some and they're like, oh, we'll reuse it for something else later. I actually talked in Zurich as well about how at the end of games, devs tend to make obscure and weird places because they're running low on resources and stuff. And this game is no exception. We'll talk about that in a long time. But there's some cool stories about how they reused old assets and so forth. Anyway, back in here, we got our next little challenging encounter. This guy is called Tross. He's an Octopussy style mob, and I don't think you find too many of these actually in the whole game. But he's pretty interesting because it gives you some more mechanics that we can deal with. Beyond just the small things we've experienced so far. So for now, let's just start attacking him. We can throw some grenades. Guides would be recommending that you steal a bunch of grenades from previous enemies so that you can just spam them away on him. But once you've done a certain amount of damage or a certain amount of turns have passed, he'll actually swim off to the side. What he's doing here is he's putting himself out of range for us to attack. And the game tells us there's something new here. Trigger commands. Special commands become available in certain battles. Press left on the D-pad in the command window to access them. So here we can now press left again, and there's our sword play, that's our overdrive. But our overdrive meter isn't full, so it's grayed out. But underneath it is this standby, which allows us to wait while also recovering HP. Kind of a weird idea. I mean, we can sort of wait and use a potion at the same time, but hey, the game's telling us, so we may as well do it. Standby, that gives us 50 health without having to wait for a potion. And again, he's out of range, but I believe we might still be able to throw a grenade at him, even though he's out of range. So when you get to play as her, that might be something smart you can do. In fact, we can use two at once. What do you know? And that did a lot of damage as well. So here, now he's going to charge us with Nautilus Charge. This attack will do a lot of damage. And as this fight goes along, as this fight progresses, he's going to keep swimming away and try and get out of range of us so that he can use that attack multiple times. So here he's just attacking regularly. Oh, she's so low on health. I should probably give her a potion. 11 health. Funnily enough, on my test file, I never used any potions for a long way into the game. Like, there was just no need for them at all. But with the LP, because I'm going to be a bit longer, I'm going to do stuff stupidly just to show off mechanics to you guys. We'll play into it a bit more. And hopefully that will be fun. Like, one thing I really want to do on this playthrough, when I'm playing it with you guys, is actually make it difficult so that I can relive a lot of the difficult fights I once enjoyed. So, she can just stand by again. We're actually out of grenades now, I believe. And at this point... Oh, come on! What? That isn't supposed to happen. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to get an idea. Alright, now we're both low. And now I'm a little bit worried. So, we're going to give ourselves another potion. And she's going to give herself a potion. Since we're not in short supply. And again, we could have had 99 if we really wanted. And we actually have an overdrive available. So let's spiral cut. In general with Titus, you're going to be tempted with this game to, if someone gets their overdrive full, like leave it and save it for when a boss fight occurs. But in general, I would just say spam it as much as you can on Titus so that he gets his new overdrives nice and quickly. There you go, we killed the boss. There's actually a mechanic in that fight that never came up. Titus is supposed to get the idea to flank the boss. He goes to the side to try and charge up his big attack, and then you can make Titus swim behind him, and you can attack him from both sides at once. And when you're in that situation, you guys remember I told you that there are critical hits, and a sort of a weird mechanical thing in that fight. While you have him flanked, it drops his luck stat from like 15 down to 0. It's really odd, considering crits aren't going to mean anything in a fight like that. But yeah, people have sort of looked in the game files and seen that kind of thing. So there you go. Anyway, we're actually done with the job now. I mean, we've got everything powered up. We've killed the fiend that was living in here. Let's just swim out. We could have returned to the safe sphere, I believe, maybe. But there's really no reason. This point here, listen to the music, okay? The music is a huge part of this game, by the way. Huge part. It's something that gets me incredibly nostalgic, and in the remake, they actually remastered many of the songs. Some of the songs have been butchered. They really have. They're really, really bad now. And I'll talk about those songs when they come on. Some of the other songs are actually fantastic and really, really pretty and done much nicer. A few of them, even further still, haven't been changed at all. This one in particular, I don't have any crazy thoughts about. It's very similar to what it used to be. But yeah. So we turned this crazy machine on. Some of you veterans of this game, or maybe people who just played it before, might think this is just like a random segue in the story, and that machine doesn't mean anything. But we'll actually find that machine again much later in the plot, and it's really, really significant. So just remember what we did here today, guys, and we'll talk about it many weeks in the future. But yeah, just that slow rhythm. It's just blinked my eyes down, ready to go to sleep. You know, it's a point with very little dialogue as well. You just get out of the action-packed stuff at the start in Zanarkand, and now where are we? We're just in the water, you know. Even that slight hypnotic twisting to the screen. Oh god. I like that part as well. The it's all good. So now that we've worked for them, maybe these guys will be a little bit nicer to us? Maybe? That symbol on the side of the ship there says Salvage Dream Sid.
Verfutra airship.
Pradanukt van een neker.
Ooh, airship. That's a word I recognise.
Hoof, roofdu, tungadib. Way, Wichita.
Hey! Hey, I helped out, didn't I?
How horrible would it be to be in Titus's situation right now? You're like a star sportsman with all these fans, and then just you see everyone die and get destroyed.
Hungry.
And now you're on some ship with people that don't even speak your language.
Whoa! Right on.
What do you guys think it is he's eating there? Spaghetti? I've never quite been able to tell.
Hey!
There, see, lip sync issues. I think she's supposed to say hey after he steals the canteen, but she
It's
says it
because you
before.
eat too fast. Hey!
Hello there. What is your name?
Riku?
Whoa! You really do understand. Woo-hoo-hoo! Huh? Why didn't you say so earlier?
I didn't get a chance to. Everyone thought we were a fiend.
We?
Oh, we means you.
Who are you guys anyway?
We're Al Bhed. Can't you tell? Wait, you're not an Al Bhed hater, are you?
I don't even know what an Al Bhed is.
Where are you from?
Zanarkand. I'm a blitzball player. Star player of the Zanarkand Abes.
Did you hit your head or something?
You guys hit me?
Oh, right. Do you remember anything before that?
So I told her everything there was to tell about Zanarkand. About life there, Blitzball, and Sin's attack. And about how Aaron and I were engulfed in this light. I just said things as they came to mind. But then I started to wonder. Did I say something funny?
You were near Sin.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, you'll be better in no time. They say your head gets funny when Sin is near. Maybe you just had some kind of dream?
You mean I'm sick?
Because of Sin's toxin, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, there is no Zanarkand anymore. Sin destroyed it 1,000 years ago. So no one plays blitzball there.
Ooh, she says that so coldly.
Huh? What do you mean, 1,000 years ago? But I saw Sin attack Xanarkin. You're saying that happened 1,000 years ago? No way!
Yeah, that certainly doesn't seem to make very much sense. As tempting as it would be to save, let's just progress on. Some more cutscene goodness.
You said... You play blitzball?
Uh-huh.
You know, you should go to Luca. Someone might know who you are, or you might find someone you recognize.
Luca? Huh.
Okay, leave it to me. I'll get you to Luca. Promise. You'd rather stay here?
Uh-uh.
Okay, I'll go tell the others. Wait here. Oh, and one thing. Don't tell anyone you're from Xanarkand, okay? Yevon says it's a holy place. You might upset someone.
Oh, uh-huh.
Wow, that's a lot of words that we've just been thrown. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. It's not that bad.
My Xanarkand? Some kind of holy place? Yeah, right, I thought. Since when?
So I imagine it to be a huge city of debauchery and...
Yevon? Sin? Luca? I thought Sin just took me to a faraway place that I could go back in a day or two. But 1,000 years into the future? No way! Whoa, whoa!
Etonic!
Whoa! Wow!
It's funny here because this is a really important scene. Sin coming again for us. And we getting sucked away. But we don't even see him. It's really shoddily done, in my opinion, actually, for how important what just happened there is to the story. It's really sort of shoehorned in. But yeah, we're now finally, in my opinion, not that what we've already seen isn't important, but the game is gonna hit a proper narrative now, okay? So after this save section, we're gonna get some consistency going. We're gonna wake up once again in a new area, and this time maybe it will stick.
Riku! Blitzball!